Hello, Magdalena here, Wolf of Coins. Nice to see you all again. Today I decided to have some fun and do the Tarot Obsessed hashtag created by Katey Flowers. And yeah, these are my answers. I hope you will enjoy. So first up, what was your very first tarot deck? So I've talked about this before on this channel. It was, I'm keeping it in this pretty Baba Studio bag. It was Tarot Polski, a Polish deck created by Aleksandra Jaśniak. And yes, it's a pip deck. It's very colorful and very early 90s. I'd say. But yeah, this was my first deck. And I mentioned that as well, but I edged it in gold. So I got this deck roughly 20 years ago. So this was my first one ever. And what is your current favorite tarot deck? Well, that's hard. That's hard to decide, really. But I picked this one, the Tarot de Marseille Restoration by Pablo Robledo. This deck is just oh my goodness, it's so perfect. Wait, where do I start? Really, it's just the images, the colors, you know, this aged look. By the way, I also edged this deck in antique linen, and the size of the deck, it's really not too big for my hands, at least. It's a really nice, and cardstock is great. These babies shuffle like a dream. So, and it actually makes me warm inside. This deck makes me warm inside. It's so inviting. Do you see the images properly? Do you? Okay, maybe I will do it like this. So I just feel drawn to the cards, and I feel welcome to them. That's the magic of this deck. So I don't know if you've seen these properly, so I will just, well, I've been showing this deck on the channel before, so it's just so that you, if you haven't seen the other videos, you can see it now. Yeah. Next up, what is your most used tarot deck? So of course, if it's my favorite at the moment, it's the Pablo Robledo deck. I use it quite a lot, but I also use other Tarot de Marseille decks that I have. It's just, as I said, I feel compelled to use this one. And alright, what is your least used tarot deck? I would say it's, since right now I am really exploring Tarot de Marseille, it's no wonder that my Rider-Waite-Smith style decks are unused, because I'm focusing on a completely different style of reading. And yeah, I have those. This is one of my first decks, Tarot of the White Cats. It is so pretty. And yeah, I trimmed it. So it is a really Rider-Waite-Smith style deck. It's so colorful and cheerful. I really loved reading with it. The kitty's crying. I also have mini version of this deck. I don't have many minis, but I have of this one. And look at this strength. I love this card. So as I said, they mostly follow the Rider-Waite-Smith template, but there are some different cards, like the Strength card, or where is the Ten of Swords, I think. Where are you? Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords. I bet it's the last. No, it's not the last one in the deck. Yeah, the kitty is running away. So there's a twist to it, and there is like sunshine going through those dark clouds. So it's a very optimistic deck, and I did use it a lot previously in the past. Before my Tarot de Marseille revolution, let's call it. And I have another one that hasn't seen much use recently. It's my Tarot of the Magical Forest. And it's also trimmed. I think the images look beautiful without frames. And yeah, it's also very Rider-Waite-Smithy. Although this one also has its own twist. Like, the hangman is a bat. How awesome. Just how awesome. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, so sadly I'm not using these right now, but it's just the thing that I'm focusing on something else at the moment. And next up, how did you learn to read tarot? So my first ever contact with any tarot book was this one. And it was together in this package with the Polish tarot. So, you know, I still have those spare cards. So the deck was here and together with the book. And as you can see, I've been studying from this book. I've been like marking important parts. But yeah, I mostly studied majors. Minors anyway have only really short descriptions here as the straight and reversed position, and it didn't really make sense to me. I mean, I did not see any connection, any reason why this card would mean this. So yeah, I focused mostly on the majors, but this was like 20 years ago. So quite a while, and then I had a long break from tarot, and I started around 2011. And yeah, so I still love these books. These are books by Hajo Banzhaf, and I think he's not too well known in English-speaking countries, but he was really prominent figure in Germany. I believe he was German. And yeah, some of his books were translated to Polish, so I had access to them. And I think I started with this one. It's like tarotist's tarot reader handbook or something. The original title was, yeah, Das Tarot-Handbuch or Tarot-Handbuch, so handbook. And then there was Droga tarota, which is Way of Tarot. The original is Tarot und die Reise des Helden in German, and this is in Polish. It's Klucze do Tarota, Keys to Tarot, and it's Gut beraten mit Tarot. So I really like how he writes about tarot. I mean, it was my first real study, and it really encouraged me to do more. What I loved here you get a lot about Carl Gustav Jung and the archetypes and the journey of the fool's journey. You get some. What I loved is like that he showed some connections with mythology, with like art and stuff, because it's something that really interests me. He would also show both Rider-Waite-Smith and Tarot de Marseille images, and he would also, I don't remember which book says it, maybe it's this one actually. He explained why for him the numbering for strength being 11 and justice being 8, why is it for him like a better solution, and he convinced me. So from that time on, I would use the older numbering, not the Rider-Waite numbering. And this book, this is what's interesting. Also in this book, you get the Tarot de Marseille, and he also like gave some. In this book, you get some stories connected to these major arcanum. So what do we have? There is from like a text from Albert Camus for Death card, and this was very interesting to find tarot in pieces of literature. That was cool. And this is basically spreads. And also you get like really keywords for meanings of the card in specific connotations, like general meaning, work, relationship, self-awareness, goal, shadow, and stuff like that. So it was really comprehensive. And these were my 3 first tarot books, because I'm a bookworm and I love books and I buy books. And then I took a tarot class. I realized that there is tarot class available in Warsaw. I am from Warsaw, and I lived in Warsaw back then. I believe it was 2012, and yeah, it was the major arcana course, and there was the minor arcana class, but then I moved to Switzerland, so I did not attend. I did not get the chance to attend. Oh, some tea. So yes, so I took this this major arcana class with 2 teachers who run a magazine, one about astrology and the other one about tarot. I believe I have some here actually. Yeah, tarotista, tarot reader, and they were great. It was Mirosława Krogulska and Izabela Podlaska-Konkel, and I loved their classes. They are a great team. One of them is really orderly and down to earth, and the other one is very energetic and extrovertic and inspirational. Can I say it? So they are a great team together, and it also gave me the opportunity to meet in person tarot inclined people, because I did not have a chance of doing that before. So it was a really great experience. And what is interesting, everyone in our group, it was like a group of 10 people or something, each and every person had a different deck. So there was some with Rider-Waite-Smith. There was one person who had, it's a Polish deck but based on Visconti Sforza. There was one person with Tarot de Marseille. So it was very interesting. I had Universal Tarot by Los Caraballo with me. So it was very, very interesting and fun, and I really really regretted that I could not attend the second part of the course. But I did take the special, I think it was special pre-Christmas class or something like that. It was nice, one meeting only. But yeah, and then I somehow started, somehow my interest in Tarot de Marseille started. I'm not sure exactly how it started, but then I found this book, The Way of Tarot by Jodorowsky and Costa. And this was the beginning of my great Tarot de Marseille journey that inspired me to hunger for more. And so I also bought the book by Dr. Hajo Banzhaf. I learned also from the books by Camilla Elias, and then also Enrique Enriquez. And just recently I took a course, first Pip course, reading Pip's course, and then Trump's course by Enrique Enriquez. It was amazing. So yeah, I'm learning all the time. It's just if I make such a video in some years, I will probably add next. There will be additions to this list, but it is what I said is just up to date. And what do you use tarot for? So yeah, many things. First of all, self-exploration, to let me understand myself better. For meditation too, I do sometimes read for others. What I use it primarily for, well, I prefer to use it about our inner things, so like feelings, emotions, psychology and stuff. For predictions, I prefer to use Lenormand these days because it seems more earthy. And yeah, tarot is more, yeah, less like concrete, I'd say. Although sometimes it's just like a hammer in the head, to be honest. But yeah, mostly it's for those deep things, and Lenormand is for will the trip go okay, or something like that. So if I use tarot for predictions, it's for topics like if I try this and that, how will it make me feel? Because tarot is very good at that. So yeah, but it's all changing. I have some things that I like at one point, and I change into something else. So it's very, very fluid with me. How do you read tarot? Intuition or book? So as I said, I am a book lover, but these days my preferred technique of reading is the visual technique. So I read what I see. So yeah, this is my method majorly for Tarot de Marseille. And then I always read them in groups, like never one card reading. I usually, almost always, to be honest, I pull 3 cards and I see the story unfolding, plus the bottom card. So I also like see what's at the bottom. And yeah, so is it intuition? It's more well, of course, we always use our intuition, but most of all, it's trying to be observant and see patterns in the cards. What is repeating itself in the cards? What is changing into what? This is how I read. I have some videos on my visual reading technique. It's a lot based a lot on Enrique Enriquez and Camila Elias style. So yeah, if you're interested, you can check it out. Next up, do you use spreads? Almost never these days. I used to. As I showed you, there is this whole book on spreads that I have, and they are helpful. I sometimes use them, but for my regular readings I don't, because as I said, I read them in a sequence. So I never use one card for Tarot de Marseille. And do you mix tarot with other divination systems? Yes, I love to combine tarot with oracle. I would often draw one card for like summing up the reading, or like a additional piece of advice, and I see how it corresponds with my whole reading. I search for the shared points. It's very interesting and illuminating too. So I really love using oracle together with tarot. What makes a great tarot deck? Well, I think I mentioned this before on the channel, but my perfect tarot deck is basically Tarot de Marseille. It's perfect on so many levels that yeah, I don't need anything else. Well, I need many Tarot de Marseille decks because I'm a bit obsessed. However, again, I have a whole video about why is Tarot de Marseille cool. But in short, it allows this special way of reading that I love so much, that gives me such great results, that yeah, it's just magic. But also, apart from my Tarot de Marseille obsession, which I hope you're not too flooded with, artwork is very important to me. The visual side of the deck, it's really, really important. The cardstock can be not perfect. Well, of course, the good cardstock makes me want to use the deck more, but it's the first thing for me is the artwork, and I'm pretty picky when it comes to art. For example, I'm really not a fan of digital art. Even though it's beautiful, it somehow doesn't work for me really well. But yeah, I really love the analog art, the regular, paintbrush or ink and nib style artwork. It really speaks to my heart. So yeah, that would be it. How important to you is that a deck stick to the tarot system? Yeah, I think that it's not a problem for me, because I read both Tarot de Marseille because I read both tarot and oracle. So if the deck does not follow the tarot system, I just read it as oracle, and that's that. I don't care. Do you have any backup decks? I do. I have one, and it's my it's still in foil, you guys. It's Jodorowsky-Camoin Tarot de Marseille, and I bought it basically because when I was buying this deck, it was still from the producer. I don't think it was available on Amazon back then. There was a really nice price for if you buy 2 decks, so I thought, And yeah, I still haven't opened it because even though I use my original working deck a lot, it's still in great condition. I don't know, maybe I'm just careful, or I don't know. But yeah, it looks very nice. So I'm using this one, and that one is just waiting for something. Do you have any unusual or unique decks? I do! And yeah, I made a whole like review of this deck on the channel, but I will quickly show you. It's the Rosenwald Tarot. Oh, it's tiny. So it's a deck restored by Sullivan Hismans. And yeah, it's really gorgeous. The cardstock is amazing. It's cut by hand. And yeah, this is my very special deck. I believe it was also the most expensive deck ever that I bought. But yeah, it's cool. Where are the court cards? More court cards. Court cards are really pretty in this deck. Well, at least I think so. So this, yeah, this deck was, I think, originally from 15th century, and it got restored. What's your current deck crush? I'm not sure how to interpret this question, but I decided that it should be a deck that I'm dreaming of having. So I actually am waiting for Christmas. I have already ordered a present from myself to myself, and it includes the Fairy Light Tarot. It's somehow, it really calls to me. And I know it's already there in Poland waiting for me when I arrive for Christmas to my parents' place, and I can't wait. I catch myself thinking about this deck quite often. So yeah, it would be it, but we'll see what happens when we meet in person. Who knows? Who knows? Do you read reversals? Not with tarot. I do read with some oracle decks, like medicine cards, also because it's not just simple reversed meaning thing, but yeah, well, let's talk tarot. I don't do that with tarot. I did try out this technique. I read the whole book about it, but I felt it was just not for me. It did not work for me. And right now that I'm using this visual technique, it disrupts my my flow of my reading. Also, well, you know, normally people are not upside down in real life situations, except for the Hangman card, but it's a quite special card. But other than that, it just doesn't play well with the way I read the cards, because I don't have set meanings for the cards, so I can't use the reversed meaning of the card, because the meaning of the card changes depending on the sequence in which it is. So yeah, it doesn't make sense for me. So I don't use reversals. If you could only use one deck, which would it be? This is a very cruel question. Really, it's cruel, but I thought about it, and I think I would pick my Jodorowsky-Camoin, simply because it's a beautiful deck and it's very close to my heart. which I always repeat. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot in this video, but yeah. This deck was with me when I was starting on the bumpy path of reading Tarot de Marseille. At least it was bumpy for me. So I feel there's this bond between us. I have this feeling of trust towards this deck, and it would be if I could have only one deck, I would stick with it probably. However, there are so many other lovely, gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful, talkative decks that I love to use, but yeah, it would be this one. So this is it. I hope you've enjoyed. I had fun making this video, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you real soon. Bye!